Analytics, tips for analysis and collaboration, it's ubiquitous. It's something like 95% of websites have this installed. Anyone here have analytics on their website? Anyone here checked analytics in the last month? In the last week? Who's got it on their phone they looked at this morning? Ah, my people. I'm in the right place. But in our experience, it's only like 1 in 4 of our clients that actually has it completely set up. Sort of to Robert's point, right? And technology is not easy to set up. And also, really important, I think, is that this is one of the skills that employers really have trouble finding. It's one of the things that hiring managers say is missing from their candidate pools. So the things that we're doing today, the things that you're learning today, you're in the right session, you're at the right event, because we're going to do our best to just, in the next few minutes, kind of level you up a little bit on your own analytics skills, because really 95% of employers are saying that this is what they're looking for but not finding. And I want to keep it simple. Those people at Google are so smart. They have 2,000 math PhDs on staff, and they figured this out. It's alphabetized. Look, ABC. So simple. Analytics, or acquisition behavior conversion, which in my mind actually aligns with the funnel. Top of funnel, acquisition, attracting an audience. Behavior, what do people do on your website? And conversion, what percentage of them took action? So we're going to break it down. We're just going to do ABC, no sweat. Also, I think it's really hard to sit in analytics sessions and be able to kind of capture everything. So I tried to do you all a favor by just recording this all in advance. That link will take you to a video of this session. This whole event's recorded anyway, so you'll get the, you may get that recording too. But I've already captured, the notes are already here, okay? It's just like a blank blog post that just has this session. It has this video. That's one of the problems with analytics. The other problem with teaching analytics is that you guys are all in different skill levels. So what I also want to do is to go with, in ABC, acquisition behavior conversion, a basic thing and a more advanced thing for each. So there should be something for everyone. If you're an analytics pro, Chris Penn's in the front row. This is really hard and a lot of pressure. Chris is right there. If he's bored, he can just wait a few minutes because I'm going to get to the more advanced stuff in a second. In between, I want to add analysis because I really think that this is the point of analytics, is to make decisions. Analysis, it's not just for reporting, it's for asking questions, answering those questions, and then taking an action. Because unless you take an action from the data, there really is no value in the data. Analytics is useless unless you make decisions and take action. This is my pet peeve about data. People want data, they want to report, they like to look at charts, but if you don't do something with that, it really didn't help you at all. This is how a lot of people use analytics. They wake up in the morning, they look at a chart, and if the line goes up, they smile. If the line goes down, they frown. And then they go back to their email inbox and pretend they did some analytics work that day. They did not do, you didn't really do anything. It didn't help. Reporting is not analysis. Reports don't affect your marketing unless you take action. So analysis is when you get an idea, you ask a question that would support that idea, and then you take an action, right? You find the answer, make a decision, reject or take the action, and then measure the impact. So my analysis piece, we're going to do question, answer, action for each. Ready? A is for acquisition. The basics for acquisition are just setting up campaign tracking code. I find that this is a useful thing to remind people of if you didn't know, or if you're using analytics and you haven't set up basic campaign tracking code, this is a fundamental core thing. Because so much of the data that we get isn't even website data. Social media data, likes, shares, comments, that's not even visits. Those aren't people on your website. You know, we say where there's traffic, there's hope. These aren't even visitors yet, right? They're just on the social media network. Or an email. Delivery rate, open rate, click-through rate, that you're not really doing real analysis unless you go farther down the funnel, deeper into the website and see average time on page, bounce rate, pages per visit, the conversion rate, right? So the only way to connect these two dots is with a little bit of code that stops this from happening. You send an email, where are your email visitors? If this is what your all channels default channel grouping report looks like, and you're sending email, you haven't yet connected analytics to your email campaigns yet. When you do, you should see a separate group, right? This is exactly the kind of thing you'd want to be tracking. Here's how it works. You send an email. The email has links to your website. Screenshot of an email. When someone clicks on one of those links, they get to the page. In the code for that link, there is a little bit of stuff at the top, kind of appended to the link, that says that they came from the email, right? That got added to that through a campaign builder, through a URL builder. They're UTM tracking codes. We made one on our site. You can find them anywhere. They're free, simple tools that will add the campaign tracking code to the link. So you put the link in at the top, your article, website.com/article, and then you enter the campaign source. In this case, it's a newsletter. You enter the campaign medium. In this case, the medium is email. And you enter the campaign name, which in this case was whatever the name of the campaign was. Our URL builder, we kind of faked a little screenshot of what analytics will look like when people click on this link. So we put that right in there so you can kind of preview it. Here are some simple guidelines for adding campaign tracking code, right? Some best practices, some naming conventions. The medium is the broadest origin of traffic, like CPC if it's a Facebook ad. The source is the more specific source of traffic. Please always use lowercase. Our URL builder actually forces lowercase, but if you treat it, it's case sensitive. If you put Facebook with an F, capital F one day and a lowercase f, it'll show separately. And then the campaign name. Here's one for an email newsletter. Here's one for a Twitter campaign. Now when you look in analytics, you're going to get all of your campaigns in one report. There they are. So when you click on that link and you look at that report, if you send email, it should look like this. See that? It's like a heartbeat, right? It's spiky but very consistent. That's because you connected the data and you put campaign tracking code on every link to your website from every campaign that you run, social, email, display, cost per click, whatever it is, right? And now you get all the traffic data. How many visitors came to the site, what percentage converted, what percentage stayed, what percentage saw more than one page. And please, please never add campaign tracking code to internal links. It overwrites the actual source of the traffic. So it's not meant for that. It's meant for it's acquisition. It's meant for when you bring visitors to the site. So never add this stuff to links between pages on your site. That would be a mistake. Okay, analysis. We're going to do a bit of analysis now. How much traffic is that campaign driving? When I work really hard on a piece of content, I want to work really hard on promoting that content. So I sometimes turn on the camera and I make a tiny video of me introducing that content. So here's my studio, cheap, low tech. Right? And basically, I turn on the camera and I wait until I smile. What do they call that? RBF? Like you don't smile by default. Like sit there and look at the camera until I start smiling. And then, hi, I'm this guy. I made this thing. You might like it for this reason. Call to action. Then I had captions. If you're doing this, guys, you've got to add captions because the video itself doesn't have sound by default. They're just scrolling through their social stream, right? It's the captions that add stopping power because they can get some of the meaning before they scroll past. Very simple to do in Camtasia. And then I add the campaign tracking code, of course. And then I pull out all the stops and I make that like the best social media post I could possibly have made with a number and secondary headlines and hashtags and mentions. And this is kind of what it looks like. Blah, blah, blah. You've seen these everywhere, right?
And I'm sharing an article with you now called
27
Web Design Tips Based on Research. There's a lot of information.
That's like a 20 minutes total round trip. Mention people in your content, right? Include people in your content and mention them in the social post. Did that work? That was a lot more work than just a simple social post. Did that work? Yes, it worked. And I know exactly how well it worked because I had a campaign tracking code. Look, perfect attribution. I can see I got that many visitors. I got a subscriber. And by the way, wow, we're in a golden age for LinkedIn video. That thing lasted for like a week. Here's the next one. 3 subscribers, 270 visits from a single social media post. The third time I did it, it's not a mystery. I know exactly what that did because I added the campaign tracking code. That's the main point here. But also, wow, it's kind of astonishing how powerful social video is right now and how worth it is to put extra effort into these things because, quick reminder, it's not the best content that wins, guys. It's the best promoted content. We should be working at least as hard on promotion as we are on creating content. Okay, advanced, acquisition, advanced, tracking subdomain traffic. We've got marketing technology, it's expensive, it's hard to install, so we put it at a subdomain so it can be hosted somewhere else. And now we end up with like blog.website.com. Or we end up with hub.website.com. Or we have landing pages like Unbounce, and we have resources.website.com. The problem is, in analytics, that doesn't really track as the same visitor. A lot of people don't know this. If a visitor goes from your website to a subdomain and back to your website, that is 2 different visitors and 3 different visits. It doesn't track the same because it looks like an exit when the person left. So to do subdomain track, we want it to look like this. So to do subdomain tracking, we need to show the full URL in analytics. When you're looking at your all pages report, if the home page is just a slash, you're not showing the full URL. There is a way to show the full URL in analytics. It works like this. You create a filter. It's for the view on the far right. You create a filter. Click the big red button to add a filter. Give the filter a name like show domain or full URL. It's going to be a custom filter. It's going to be advanced. I told you we're going advanced. And then I don't even know what this means. I know it works. I've done this many times, but this is how we do it. Host name. Request URI. Output to constructor request URI. That stuff. Click save. Click save, and it works. Now you have a filter called show domain, and now when you look at your traffic, it's going to show the full URL, including the subdomain. So that success and failure now look different. If the visitor goes from your site to your landing pages or your HubSpot blog, and then they come back to your website, they don't look like different visitors and different visits. It's also sensible to add a referral exclusion where you put the blog dot as a, so it's an extra double check way to make sure that analytics doesn't count that as a referrer. There you go. One visitor, one visit. Subdomain tracking.